Welcome to QAvalidation.com. So, in our Java for QA video series, the next topic is Java arrays. Okay, so we have seen in our previous videos how to declare a variable and how to assign a value to that variable. Now we will see some more advanced thing from a variable. So, what is exactly an array? So, array is basically one homogeneous type or like typed variables. It should be either all integers or all string or all your boolean. So it's a collection of your variables which is basically given a common name. So as you can see on the left hand side, the declaration syntax is somewhat like this. So what it says, int arr. So arr is nothing but one array variable, like we used to take int a, int b, like that. Okay, and the square bracket, the closing and opening, says that it's an array. So when I say int arr, then it is just a variable. When I say int arr, then with a square bracket, then it determines that it's an array. So now, how to declare a variable? So as the syntax says, int arr square bracket equal to new int of the size. Okay, so how many variables or how many values you want to put inside the variable, that you need to determine, or you need to specify that. That means that new int of what is the size of your array, that you need to specify. Okay, so that is the syntax. Now, as it says, so now the picture says that the ARR is an array with length 7. Okay, now how do we, what you call, identify, or how do we distinguish each of the element from that array? By using the index. Okay, so the index always starts from 0. Okay, so if I have a an array of length 7, means the last index would be 6 because it starts from 0. So as you can see here, like the fifth element is determined, or the sixth element, sorry, the sixth element is determined as ARR of 5. It means that it is determining the sixth element. Okay. So like that. So this is basically, we call it as a single dimensional array because you will have only one row of data only. Okay. So let's see that in action. Okay. So let me open my Eclipse, and here what I can do, I'll create a package. Okay, and I'll give this one is array. So I should be giving all small array examples, let's say. Okay, so here I'll create one more class. Let's say that single dimensional array. Okay, single dimensional array. Check this box and click on finish. Okay, so int. Okay, so now here in this example I'm showing int only. So you can have a string, so you can have even floating, so any of the data type you can have, but the condition is that the number of values you want to put inside that array should be homogeneous. Means what type you are declaring, that type of value only you can assign. So I can have, so let's say that int arr equal to new int of, let's say I'm saying 7. Okay, it means that all the 7 elements should be of data type int only. I can't put a short or a double or a string value inside there. Okay, now let's see how we can assign it. So now this is basically how you can declare a variable. Okay, and this is a single dimensional array. Now what you can do here, so ARR, as I told, each element should be identified by using its index. So ARR 0 means is the first value. So let's say I'm putting as 12, like this. Let me put one by one. Let me do one thing. Reduce the size so that I need not to write a lot. Okay, so I given the size as 5, so I should be ending with ARR of 4. Okay, so now this is what a way of assigning a value to there. Okay, now how do I fetch the data from there? So I can do like this way. So let's say ARR of, if I want to have 3. Okay, the value of so here I can write here to make it more understandable, value at index 3, let's say. Okay, now let's run it. So if you know the index that you want to get it, then you can just directly mention that. But let's say that you want to display all the values that are inside that array. So what you can do for that, you can use a for loop. Okay, we have already learned how to use for loop in Java. So let's implement that here. Int I equal to 0, and then I need to give a condition, right? So what should be the condition? The condition should be, it should traverse till the length of that array. Okay, so you can see there is a what do you call, object that is called as length, so which will return me the number of elements that are inside the array. Okay, so I plus plus. Okay, so what I can do here, let me put another thing. So here, oops. Okay, so length of the array is what I can do, ARR of length. Okay, I can put like this. Okay, so let's run this and see. Okay, you can see the value of or the length of array is 5. Okay, so now what it will do, it will go from 0 to the ARR of length, means that is 5. Okay, so up to 5 times it will traverse that for loop. Okay, now how do I print this? So as you can see on the 15th line, what I did, ARR of 3, but here I need to print all. That means that I need to pass that I value into this, so that at every time what it will do, the I will be incremented. So first time it will be 0, then 1, then 2, like that it will print all the elements that are inside the array. Okay, so what I can do to make it more readable, I will say that elements of the array are, okay, like that I can put. Now let's see. Okay, so here you can see value of value at index 3, that is the value is 10, then the length is 5, and let's see if all the values are printed or not. So 12, 6, 9, 10, 76. So all the values are printed from there. So if you know the particular index that you want to get the value, directly you can say ARR of that particular index number. If you want to traverse through all the elements, then you can use a for loop and take the length of that and then put inside a for loop, which will give you all the elements. Okay, so this is all about your single dimensional array. Now in our one of the conditions in loops, I have shown one more thing, that is how to use a for loop by using your array. So here, now another way of declaring array is like this. So what you can do here, let's say I want to declare the same variable only here. So a int array equal to, I need not to use the new keyword. Rather what I can do, I can directly assign the values like this. How many? Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, like this also I can do that. So different ways of assigning declaring. So either you can use the new keyword and you can assign all these things, or else what you can do, so here I need not to specify the size of that array. Okay, how many what do you call, how much elements I'm adding, the size will be incrementing that many times. Okay, but see, once I declare this one, I cannot again come here and I can't say ARR of equal to, like this I can't say. It won't append to that. Okay, so that will not be possible. For the first time, how many elements you will enter, that many elements only will stay inside the array variable. Okay, if you know the size of the variable, then size of the array, so just specify here. So these are the two ways of specifying. So if you are specifying in this way, don't use this one. Okay, so either one here I can say, or okay, but this will remain as it is. The way you are fetching, the way you are getting your length and all those things will remain as it is only. Okay, so this is all about your single dimensional array. Okay, so there is one more, that is two dimensional or multi-dimensional. Okay, so here is the multi-dimensional. So I'm showing a two-dimensional array. Now here on the single dimensional, you can see there is only one row of data. Okay, but on the multi-dimensional, you can say now in this case, I'm declaring a two-dimensional array. Now two-dimensional means there should be one rows and columns. Okay, it's the same thing only. So new int of 27. 27 means two. The first will be determining your number of rows, and the second will determine how many number of columns. Okay, now it's a two-dimensional array having two rows and seven columns. So you can see here. Okay, now here single dimensional, you had only one square bracket only. Here it is, because it is two-dimensional, you have to always specify the what is the row index and the column index. So here it is only two rows and seven columns are there. Now the way of fetching the data is the same only. We need to use a for loop, but we need to use a nested for loop. Okay, nested for loop means a for loop inside that for loop another for loop, because the first for loop will determine how many rows are there, and the second for loop will determine in each row how many columns are there. Okay, so in that way you can fetch single element one by one all the elements. Okay, so let's go to Eclipse, and I will create one more class here. Let's say I will say two-dimensional array. Okay, and check this checkbox to get the main method. Okay, so now let's declare a two-dimensional array and assign a value to there. Okay, so arr 2d of, here what I can do, I can assign a value like this. So let's say that we want to use seven elements in the first row, means 1 comma 3 comma 23 comma 21 comma, how many are there, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, 6, and then this would be my seventh element. Okay, like this. So this is my first row elements. Now let's declare the second row elements. Let's say, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So here is my total number of, so there are two rows. Okay. What did it happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Here one more curly braces I need to give. Okay. Now the error is gone. Okay. So now let's see if I want to access the value of second row and third element. Now then how I can do, second row means the index is 1. Okay, and then third element means second index. Now let's see what is the value I'm getting. Oops, this is 2D. Okay, so now let's run this one. Okay, so here you can see 34. Now where is the 34? Here is the 34 here. Okay, so here is the 34, because the second row and 2 means the third element. So how it is, so the first row data is like this. First row 1, then 3, then 23. We will print it and see that one. 34, and then 54, and then 5. Now the same thing, second row is your 21, 32, 34, 65 minus 98, 98 minus 3 like this. Okay, so here you can see second row means this row, third element means this one, 34 like that. Okay, so now we will try to print all the elements from that two-dimensional array. So as usual, single dimensional, how did we do? Int I equal to 0, then condition. Here the condition is arr2d, okay, dot length, okay, dot length, then I plus plus, okay. So now I will show you another thing here, SYSO. Now let's see the length, how it is coming. ARR2D, capital D, dot length. Now let's see what is the length it is showing. First we will see. Okay, the length it is showing is 2, means it is showing first. If you declare, if you put that variable dot length, it will always give you the number of rows only. Number of rows is length always. If you want to know, let's say, why I'm showing, because we will implement that inside the for loop. Okay, so here a rr 2d of, let's say, first row, sorry, second row, let's say we want to know the length, then like this we can put it here. So here let me put this one like this, and this will be my first row. Okay, so you can see 34 is my value, number of rows are 2, then the first row number of columns are 7, second row number of columns are 7. Okay, so like this. Now here, so now the ARR 2D dot length will give you a result as 2, so it will loop it 2 times, the outer for loop. Now the second for loop will determine how many columns are there. So let's say I equal j equal to j less than arr 2d. We want to get each time each rows, right? So let me put it as I. Okay, and then j plus plus plus. Okay, okay, here dot length, dot length. Okay, so 2 times it will check the what you call for loop, and each time it will identify the number of so this will determine the number of columns. Okay, here what I can do, I can print that. So first time it will print a number of elements for the first row only. So what I can do, arr2d, here what is the row is I and column is my j, right? Okay, so like this, and let me put here, let me print it as print, not println. Println will always print in a new line, print will print on the same line. Okay, so here what I can do, okay, first let me print this one and then we will see how it is coming. And here let me put a space so that it can determine the number of elements. Okay, so here you can see, so you can see 1 3 23, so up to 5 is the first row, second row starts from 21 and ends with 3 minus 3. So to make it more readable, what I can do, okay, like this, and let's see how it is printing. Okay, you can see that, so first row elements here, and this is my second row elements. Okay, so like that you can uh, determine, or you can get the values of a two-dimensional array. Okay, so now here one thing is that there are a few things that we need to bring it to notice. One is that the array always holds the same or the similar data types. That is one thing, so you cannot mix of a integer with a string and all those things. The another thing is that you need to specify the size of that array at the beginning only. While assigning the value, there itself you have to specify the size. Okay, because later point of time you cannot change the size of that array. So that is one of the demerit. So when exactly you need to use the array, when you know the exact size of that array, you can use that. Now to what you call dynamically, you can change that size. For that, there is another concept called as collections that we will see in our future videos, how to use the collection and collection objects which can hold different data types irrespective of your data types. So you can use mix of integer, then boolean, then your string characters, all those things you can use that one. So we'll see that how we can use that. Okay, so here, okay, I was telling one thing, right? Homogeneous elements. So like this, so here what I can do, I can even create like this string, let's say str of, let's say you have a single dimensional array. So what you can do here, you can do like this xyz, and then, so it's not always the array means integer. I'm just showing as an example purpose, but you can use any kind of data type that you that are available in Java. Okay, like this you can do. Even you can do like this character cr of, you can do like this. So here single quote you need to give, right? Let's say s, and then r, and then d, something, some value you can assign here, like this you can do there. Okay, sorry, this should be small. Okay, like this you can do there. So this is all about your single dimensional and multi-dimensional array. Okay, so we'll see some more topics in our upcoming videos, so stay tuned and do subscribe to the video channel for future updates. Thank you.